Hi, this is Dave, Fell Running Guide. Welcome to this week's navigation task. We're in the Peak District again. This week we're on the high moors, and I want you to simply identify this boulder and tell us what direction we are facing. The map this week is the Harvey's Super Walker 1 to 25,000 of the Dark Peak, and I've got a licensing agreement with Harvey's to use the map. So on this one, quite a few people thought it was a difficult task, and at first sight it is, because there isn't a lot to go on the photograph. There's not a lot to see, but there are certain things that we can look out and work out, and maybe discount some of the possible locations. So let's have a look at the photo. What can we see? Well, the shape of the ground looks like it's a gradual descent away from us, and then maybe possibly a slight rise in the middle distance. We can definitely see that the ground is starting to drop away down to the left here, and similarly dropping away down to the right down here, and then climbing up again up to the left as we look here, that skyline there. Probably this skyline is too far away to be of any use on the map. Another thing to note is possibly a vague faint path running off down here. Hard to say, and we do have to be careful when we're looking at paths, because not every path in the landscape is shown on the map. However, it may well be worth looking at and considering once we've looked at the natural shape, the features of the ground. So let's have a look on the map. What can we see? Well, on Harvey maps, boulders are shown as black dots. So we've got lots of black dots on the map. We've got clusters of them here. I've got an isolated one here. Got some more here and here. One thing we've got to be careful of, though, is see these black dots, one there, one there, one there. Those are actually spot heights with the associated elevation next to them. So don't get caught out thinking that this is possibly a boulder. It's not. So could we discount any of these? Well, we know that that photograph was taken on quite some reasonably flat ground, wasn't it? So these boulders here are on quite a steep edge, the ground dropping away quite steeply. So if we were, whichever way we were looking there, we might expect to see the ground dropping away, unless we were looking up northwards, but we haven't really got enough map to play with for that to be the case, so we can probably discount those. Similarly on here, these boulders are on quite a steep edge there, and also these are in rocky ground. Can you see this grey shading area? That's rocky ground, and it was like peaty grassy terrain that we were on there. So we're discounting quite a few of them. What about these? Well, they're on a contour, but we've certainly got a bit more flat ground, so that could possibly work. We've got ground dropping away to our right. If we were looking west or northwestwards, we have the ground dropping away to the right, dropping away to the left, but we'd have to go a long way before the ground starts to rise again. It doesn't rise again until coming up here, so that doesn't really fit. We'd probably expect to see this dropping down into the River Derwent, the Derwent Valley there. That would be more pronounced, I think, if we were looking over from here. What about here? Could we be there? Well, let's have a look at the shape of the ground. If we were looking to the east, then we'd expect to see ground rising ahead of us, ground dropping down to our left, and then dropping down to our right further away. We wouldn't be able to see the ground rising again in the far distance on the left. If we were looking more in a more westerly direction, well, the ground would drop slightly and then flatten, certainly drop away down to the north, dropping away down to the south into the head of the Derwent, and then a little bit further along we'd have the ground rising up the contours, up this ridge here. And then the other thing to consider is that path. So these double dash the gap, double dash and the gap, that's the symbol on the Harvey map for an intermittent path. So one that isn't particularly well defined, it comes and goes. So that fits with what we can see on the photograph, doesn't it? An indistinct path running away into the distance, ground dropping to the left, dropping to the right, and then climbing up further away to our left. Let's have a look again. So there's our indistinct path just snaking out. So if that path is running away in a southwesterly direction, we're probably looking pretty much westwards really across here. That fits with what we could see on the photo. So taken from there, looking in that direction, ground dropping away to the north, dropping away to the south, and then climbing up this ridge here. So yeah, look difficult to start with, but I think once we eliminate the places that it couldn't possibly be, it does narrow it down somewhat, and being able to recognize that intermittent path helps as well. So hope that all makes sense. Hope you had a bit of time to think about it and it now makes sense to you. Well, thanks for watching. Look out for next week's navigation task. Bye for now.